Have you ever felt like you're just performing, showing up for everyone else, but never for yourself? You smile, you say the right things, you try to fit in, but deep down, you're exhausted. The truth is, every minute you spend worrying about what other people think of you is a minute you're not living for you. Today we're talking about the quiet killer of confidence, other people's opinions. Some of those opinions can control us, shape us, and sometimes even define us. But what if I told you you don't have to let them anymore? You have the power to break free from that trap. It's time to stop living for their approval and start living for yourself, unapologetically. Hi guys, I'm Daria and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, this is the place where we talk about personal growth, building confidence, and breaking free from the things that hold you back. Today we're diving into why caring so much about what other people think is slowly draining your confidence and maybe even ruining your life, and how to break free from that cycle so you can finally start living for yourself. Chapter 1. The Chains We Don't See. Do you know what's holding you back from everything you want? Is the invisible chains around your heart, the ones made of others people's opinions. Here's why caring too much about what others think is slowly ruining your life. You wake up every day and the first thing you do, you wonder, what do they think of me? Did I say the right thing? Did I look okay? This is the moment when you hand over your power. You're giving someone else control over your happiness. And here's the thing, those thoughts, those worries, they're never yours to carry. They belong to someone else. Someone who might not even be thinking about you the way you think they are. They might not even notice, but here you are, caught up in their opinion, wearing their judgment like it's your own. When you live for other people's validation, you're trading your soul for their comfort. But what happens when you lose yourself in the process? You forget what makes you, you. You forget what lights you up. You forget your truth. And without that, what's left? What's left is a shell of who you are, constantly bending and shifting, trying to fit someone else's mold. Your value is not tied to how others perceive you. You have no obligation to shrink yourself for anyone's comfort. The truth? No one else can tell you who you are except you. You get to decide. And when you let go of the chains of external approval, you start to step into your own truth. You remember who you really are. You realize that you never had to live for anyone else's validation in the first place. But when you hold on to those chains, you're stuck in a loop, fighting for approval that will never be enough. It's exhausting. You're running on empty, trying to fill a hole that only you can close. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you just stopped trying to please everyone. It's not about rejection, it's about freedom. The moment you let go, you start to live for yourself, and that's when everything changes. Chapter 2. The People-Pleasing Trap. Let's talk about something most of us are obsessed with. How often we say yes when we mean no. How many times have you agreed to things just to keep the peace? Smiling when you want to scream, laughing when you want to cry. All because you fear rejection, you fear not fitting in, you fear the consequences of being seen as selfish or worse, unlikable. But here's the thing, when you say yes to everyone else, you're saying no to yourself. Every time you suppress your needs, your desires, or your feelings just to make someone else feel better, you're abandoning yourself. And that's a dangerous road to walk down. Because the more you please others, the more you lose yourself. The more you deny your truth, the further you get from the person you're truly meant to be. I get it. We all want to be liked. We want to belong. But that desire for validation can keep you stuck in a loop of self-doubt, insecurity, and overthinking. At what cost? At the cost of your own peace, your own joy, your own truth? You don't have to give all of yourself to others just to be accepted. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be real, to show up as you are, without apology. You'll be amazed at how much more you'll attract when you stop pretending to be someone you're not. People-pleasing isn't love, it's fear. Fear that you won't be accepted unless you make yourself smaller. But you don't need to shrink for anyone. The more you show up as your true self, the more you'll attract the people who will love you for exactly who you are. No performance required. Chapter 3. The Power of Letting Go. What people think of you is none of your business. It's just not. People's judgments are reflections of their own beliefs, their own fears, and their own experiences. What they see in you isn't who you truly are, it's who they are, and you're not responsible for carrying their projections. The earlier you understand this, the better for you, because when you let others' opinions control your life, you lose sight of who you really are. You stop living for yourself and start living to meet other people's expectations. But here's the truth. You don't have to live according to their projections. You can choose your own path on your own terms. When you realize that their opinions are just their opinions, not the truth about you, it's liberating. Letting go of other people's judgments isn't about ignoring them. It's about understanding that they don't define your worth. When you stop letting others' perceptions of you influence your choices, you regain your sense of self. You start living for yourself, and that is when your true freedom comes. When you stop caring about what others think, you begin to reclaim your power. You stop handing over control of your happiness and your worth. The moment you stop fearing judgment, you become untouchable. The world may still have their opinions, but they no longer hold the power to shape who you are. What they think of you says more about them than it does about you. Once you realize this, your confidence skyrockets. You don't need anyone's approval to feel good about yourself. You have everything you need within yourself to be exactly who you are. Let go of their opinions and embrace your freedom. You are more than their judgments, more than their standards. You are you, and that's all that matters. Chapter 4. The Illusion of Perfection. Perfection. We're obsessed with it. The idea that we have to get everything just right before we can show up, before we can speak up, before we can be. Here's the problem. Perfection doesn't exist. It's a myth we've been sold. And the more we chase it, the further we get from the truth. We've been taught that we need to have everything figured out. But the reality is, we're not meant to be perfect. We're meant to be real. Real is messy. It's raw. Sometimes it's awkward. But that's where the beauty lies. That's where the growth happens. It's in the messy moments, the mistakes, and the lessons learned along the way. Stop holding yourself back because you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect look, the perfect anything. We've all been there, waiting for the stars to align. But in reality, there will never be a perfect time. The moment you decide to show up as you are, messy, imperfect, and unpolished, that's when your full potential is unleashed. That's when you begin to move with purpose, instead of waiting for everything to be in place. Perfection is the enemy of progress. If you're waiting for everything to line up perfectly, you'll be waiting forever. Life doesn't wait for you to be perfect. It moves forward, whether you're ready or not. And so should you. Take that first step, even if it's not perfect. Trust that each step will bring you closer to where you're meant to be. Instead of chasing perfection, start chasing progress. It's not about being flawless, it's about moving forward, learning from the bumps along the way and embracing the journey. It doesn't matter if you stumble or make mistakes. What matters is that you keep going. The world doesn't need flawless. It needs brave, authentic souls who show up as they are, so be brave, show up unapologetically. Chapter 5. The Wake-Up Call. Every moment you waste worrying about what others think is a moment you'll never get back. Time is your most precious resource. Do you want to know what happens when you stop caring about their opinions? You start living for yourself. You stop asking, what will they think? And instead start asking, what do I want? What do I deserve? When you stop letting the opinions of others dictate your choices, you regain control of your life. It's time to take back your power. Stop asking for permission to live your truth. The people you're scared of impressing, they're not even thinking about you. They're too busy worrying about what others think of them. And that's the reality you need to understand. You're not the center of their world, and neither are they the center of yours. You don't need to shrink or shape yourself to fit into anyone else's expectations. You don't have to live under their microscope anymore, constantly wondering if you're enough. When you stop caring about their opinions, something liberating happens. You realize you were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be free. You were meant to live on your own terms, to make choices that align with who you truly are, not who they want you to be. So take a deep breath, let go of that burden you've been carrying around for far too long. Release the pressure of seeking external approval. It's time to give yourself permission to be unapologetically you. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope this video inspires you to embrace your own unique journey, stop letting fear hold you back, and start living unapologetically as the person who you were always meant to be. See you in the next video.